Hey everybody, my name is Esmock and I'm the sales trainer here at ENS Security. And today we're actually going to be checking out our brand new Diamond Line LPR cameras. These cameras are very interesting, and that's because they have very similar functions. However, the main difference is that one is like a standard LPR that you typically see, and the other one's more of a short-range LPR. That's something kind of new that we brought in. You know, the short range is going to be meant more for parking garages and similar locations like that, and the standard LPR is going to be meant for your local roads and so on. All right, now let's dive into the specs on these cameras. Now, first we're going to talk about the specs on how both of these cameras are the same. Both of them are 4 megapixel, which is actually a massive upgrade from the 2 megapixel models we carried before. They both do support 30 frames per second, so they can capture license plates rather easy. The rating for vehicle detection is both 99%, and the vehicle recognition rating is 95%. Which by far surpasses the industry standard. They also support OSD overlay of time, address, plate, vehicle color, type, and so on, making it easy for you to view the cameras or for your end user to do it as well. And of course, they do support ANPR as long as they are matched accordingly with a Diamond Line 5 Series NVR. Let's take a look at the key differences between these models. This one right here is our LPR437, which supports detection of vehicles of up to 37 miles per hour. Whereas on the right hand side, this is our Bullet ANPR that's a little bit smaller and is our LPR415 and supports up to 18 miles per hour. As you see, there is a noticeable difference in sizing here. The LPR437 being a little bit of a larger size ANPR or more of a standard size, and the LPR415 being a little shorter, like I said earlier. Our LPR437 supports 98 feet of IR distance with up to 98 feet of total capture distance. Whereas the LPR415 supports up to 19 feet of capture distance and in 39 feet of IR illumination. LPR437 also supports up to 22 feet of detection in width, whereas the LPR415 supports up to 13 feet of detection width, making the LPR437 a little bit, like I said, as a more standard LPR, and this one really being that short range budgetary option for you. As you can see, there's a lot of similarities in these models, however, there's even more differences, right? The LPR415 being that short range option can be installed at parking garages, gated communities, or a parking lot. And a great option for the LPR437 is when you need to install on a local road or even a residential street where it can typically catch a car going 25 to 35 miles per hour, which is very common on those types of streets. Now, let's first give a common scenario or installation location where the LPR415 or the shorter range LPR can be used at. We have mentioned parking garages quite a bit already, but that is one of the locations where it's very common to see an LPR. You can install LPR415 at all entries or exit points at a parking garage. This LPR camera will detect all vehicles who enter or exit. And like I said, if you use a 5 Series Diamond Line NVR that can support ANPR, you can have seamless experience that will recognize license plates. You can set up who is allowed and not allowed to enter the facility. So if the license plate camera detects a license plate number that is not allowed back in, you can get a notification sent accordingly. LPR415 can also be used in smaller gated communities, where at the front gates, this camera would be a great option to keep residents in the community safer by detecting and viewing license plates to ensure that any unwelcome visitors gets notified to the operator of the system immediately. Whereas LPR437, let's give some examples where that can go by looking at a local road. We've talked about that quite a bit already, but yet again, it's a very common application for these types of cameras. On these local roads, you'll need to be able to capture a vehicle moving that is going up to 37 miles per hour. Typical roads will be a speed limit of 25 miles, 30 miles, 35 miles, and this camera could be able to capture them all. Since this camera also has a capture distance of 98 feet, you can install this camera from quite a distance away to where you're actually needing to capture the license plate at. And of course, you can still set up your ANPR features to get notifications if someone on that road isn't supposed to be there, and you'll be all good to go. To wrap this up, these cameras are diverse in their installation scenario. We now have an option for those entry-level LPR locations where, you know, everybody wants these LPR cameras on these job sites that are on a tight budget, and now we have an option for these. and even options for when you're trying to achieve license plate capture on local roads or, a standard LPR camera job. So to learn more and get this picked up today, give your ENS sales rep a call.